So why create custom formats? Excel has an excellent range of different formats and styles, but sometimes a unique format or style is required. Using the conditional formatting option gives an at-a-glance view to data, which is particularly helpful if the data range is complicated or very large. And creating a custom style means we can match a worksheet to a corporate identity, or we have another sample spreadsheet, this one for an eco company and its project. The spreadsheet is split into three main areas: the project leads, the sector, and the chronology. Under the project leads we have the first, middle, last name and employee number of each one of the project leads. The employee number is currently empty, and we'll be tackling this in a few minutes. Under the sector we have the region, the type, and the type coverage of each region. And lastly, under chronology, we have the start date and the projected finish of each project. So the first task is to combine our cell contents. If our spreadsheet had hundreds of names, then keeping the names separated into first, middle and last name groups would be a very efficient method of keeping things organized and sorted. But with our example, with only 8 project leads, this is largely unnecessary. We need to combine the first, middle and last name into one column with a full name. To do this, we need to use a function called concatenate, and we also need to do this in a new column. So the first thing we need is a new column. We'll put our new column here. So we select column A, right click and choose Insert from the contextual menu. A new column appears here. I'm going to make this column slightly wider so we can see what we're doing when we come to apply the formula. The next step is to give a new header for our column, and the new header name will be full name, and press return. Remember, all functions and formulas in Excel begin with the equal sign, followed by the function itself, in this case concatenate. The autocomplete can even help us here. The first argument within the concatenate function is the first cell we need to concatenate. In this case, it's in first names and it's Tony. So we click cell B6. Then we add a comma. Then we add the next cell, another comma, and the final cell. Then we close our argument and press return. The cell has concatenated, but unfortunately it's turned it into all one word. We need to put some kind of text separator in between to differentiate between each name. Select the cell one more time, then go up into the function bar and add in, after each comma, a quotation mark followed by a space, followed by a quotation mark, followed by a comma. So concatenate, open argument, B6, comma, quotation mark, space, quotation mark, comma, C6, comma, quotation mark, space, quotation mark, comma, followed by D6, followed by the closed argument, and press return. Now our name has been concatenated correctly with a space in between each one of the names. We can just as easily place a comma or a slash or any other text or symbol between these 2 points here. Just remember to always include the double quotation marks and then whatever separator you wish to use. We now need to use the same function with the rest of the names stored in our spreadsheet. As we know, we can copy a function, paste it beneath, and the cell references will change and update our names perfectly. The problem we now have, if we click on cell A8 for an example, is that Philip Stephen Appleby isn't stored in this cell, only the concatenate function and the cell references it refers to. We need this to store the actual text data of Philip Stephen Appleby and not the cell references. If we remove any of these cell references, the name updates and gives us an incorrect value. To counter this, once all our functions are pasted into place, copy the cells where the functions are, use the drop-down button in the paste function, and go to paste values. Now our cells just contain the text values rather than the cell references they refer to. We can now safely remove these three columns and have our nice and neat full name column here instead. So let's go ahead and look at conditional formatting. I've made some changes to our spreadsheet by removing the three name ranges that are now no longer required. For our conditional formatting example, we'll use this percentage data held beneath the type coverage column. Select our data, then go to conditional formatting up here in the Home tab on the ribbon. There's a wide variety of different types of conditional formatting, and all are built around rules. If we look at the highlight cells rule, cells will be highlighted if they are greater than a given value, less than a given value, between two values, equal to a value, contain a given text string, occur on a specific date, or contain duplicate values. We'll look at the greater than. Once we select this rule, any cells that are greater than a given value will be highlighted with light red fill with a dark red text. But we can always change this and choose one of the presets, or choose to create our own custom highlighting. We'll stick with things the way they are and click OK. The conditional formatting is applied, and any value that's above 50% now receives a light red fill with dark red text. These two values are below 50%, so receive no formatting whatsoever. The two most commonly used types of conditional formatting are the data bars and the color scales. With the data bars, there's two varieties, a gradient fill or a solid fill, but both follow the same rules. We'll use a gradient fill for our example. When the gradient fill is applied, the cell is filled up with color depending on the value held within it. So cell F7, for example, contains only 23%, and such, the color only fills around 1/4 of the cell. Cell F11, for example, is 90% and fills up the entire cell, as this is also the highest value within that range. The other commonly used conditional formatting type are the color scales. There's a wide variety of these, and they range from the multicolor to the single range. If we use the single range color, it shows us that 90%, being the highest value, has the heaviest color, whereas 23%, being the lowest value, has the lightest color. There are many different types of conditional formatting, and some are more useful than others. Depending on the data type being used, there are formatting options available for it. Since we began this module, we've kept the employee number data range clear, because we wish to add our own custom number format. Let's imagine that every employee has an employee number that consists of a text string followed by a number. Like so. Filling these out for each employee could be quite tedious, particularly if the spreadsheet was larger than this one. What we can do is create our own custom number format. To start with, select the range, right-click and select Format Cell. The Format Cells window opens, and in the Number tab, go down to Custom. Within this area, we have every single format type. Start with the first one, delete it, and then begin to generate your own custom number format. In this case, we wish to add a text string to the beginning of our numbers. To do this, we start with a quotation mark, then the text string, followed by a space, followed by a hyphen, and then followed by the number 0. And then close off our quotation marks. We then add a 0 to the end of this to show that a number is expected after this string. Then click OK. In cell B6, we wish to put an employee number of 100. To type in 100, press return, and our text string is updated, including the ERL, the space, the hyphen, the space, and the extra 0. If we go underneath and type in 101, again our custom number format has been applied for us. This can be used with anything: telephone numbers, postcodes, or any data format that requires repeated strings of data. Creating a custom date format works almost the same way as creating a custom number format. If we look at the chronology section of our spreadsheet, it's split into two sets of dates, the start date and the projected end. All the dates, however, contain the first of the month, which is largely unnecessary. As the numbers are fairly clustered, it makes it a little hard to see. So what we'll do is create a custom date format that will just give us the month and the year. To begin, we start by selecting our date range, right-clicking inside, and choosing Format Cells from the contextual menu. In the Number tab, we go down to Custom in the category list, and a sample of how our data already looks is here: 01/02/2010, or date day, month month, and the 4 Ys for the year. If we remove the 2 Ds at the beginning, and the / that separates them, our sample updates 02/2010. But we don't want the digit for the month, we want the word. So we add a further M. And the abbreviation for February appears. We don't want the abbreviation though, we want the entire month. So we add a final M, which gives us the full month name. The / separator looks slightly messy in this particular format. So what we'll do is remove the / separator, add a space, a hyphen, and a further space. And now our sample looks exactly as we wish it. Click OK, and the data updates. Unfortunately, the month names are wider than the columns they're supposed to be in. So again, we use the double-click method here in the column header, which widens the column out to the exact width we need. And our date range looks much tidier now. This method can be used with any type of time data, so seconds, minutes, hours, days, months and years can all be formatted to suit a purpose. In earlier modules, we've already covered how to change a cell style. We select our data, right-click within it, select Format Cells from the contextual menu, and in the Format Cells box we can change the data type, its alignment, the font used, borders, any fill or background color, or whether the cells require some kind of protection. But what if we want our own custom style that's available at our fingertips? This is where the Cell Styles button in the Home tab comes in handy. Selecting this button will open up the custom window. Mousing over any of these options will give a live preview of how the cell will look. But we wish to create our own new custom style. So that's down here in the new cell style at the bottom of the window. Select this, and the style window opens. The style window has a few parameters, the first of which is the style name. Giving the cell style a new style name makes it much easier to find later on. The next set of parameters are the styles that are already included in this particular style. These are based upon the currently selected cell. So in the case of ours, our cell that's selected is I6. So the data held within it is a date data with this current alignment, this current font, no borders, no shading, and it's locked. To alter these, we need to go to the Format button here beneath the style name. Firstly, we're going to add a custom date style. So we go down to the Custom, and we'll remove the day and month from this particular style to just leave the year. Next, our alignment is fine as it's horizontally and vertically centered. We can also alter our font, but we'll stay with our current one, Trebuchet. We'll add a border, and we'll also add a light fill. And we'll also remove the protection. Once we're happy with our format style, we select OK. The styles that's included in our current style are now updated. Once we're happy, select OK. Now we need to apply our cell style to our chosen cells. Select the cell range we wish to change, go up to Cell Styles, and select My Custom Style, which was the last style created. Our borders are now included, our light background color is included, and our new date format has also been applied. In the Module 13 Exercises folder, you'll find a file called EcoRenew Limited Exercise. This is slightly different from the one I've been demonstrating within the module video. For the first exercise, create a new column combining the data held in the first and last name columns, but arrange the data so that the last name is followed by a comma, a space, and then the first name. So to combine the data held in two columns into one column, we first need to create a new column. Right-click, select Insert, and let's just make our column wider so we can see our function. Next, we add a new header name. And remember to merge and center any headers above. So to combine the first and last name columns, we need to use the concatenate function. Remember, all functions start with an equals sign, followed by the function name. For our exercise, we want the last name to come first, followed by a comma, followed by a space, and then followed by the first name. So we choose the last name, then we add a comma, and then we add our text separator. To do this, remember, we have to use quotation marks. Add another comma, then add the first name, and then close our argument. And press return. So we have the surname first, followed by a comma, followed by a space, followed by the first name. We need to copy this function into the cells below. And finally, so that we keep the actual value instead of the cell reference, we need to copy this data again. Use the drop-down button in the Paste option and choose Paste Values. We can now delete these two columns. For the next exercise, we're going to use a custom number format in the employee number data range. The employee number must use the following string: ERL space hyphen space 0 followed by the employee number 100 to 108 followed by a forward slash followed by a capital A. So to apply our custom number format, we first need to select the cells where the formatting will apply. Right-click, choose Format Cells, and go to Custom. Choose any of the types underneath, and then begin the edit. Remember, we have a string at the start and the end of our custom number, so we start our string with quotation marks. Type in our text, followed by a space, a hyphen, another space, and a 0, then close the first section of the string. Now we add a 0 when we add our employee number. Then start the last part of the string, /, capital A, and then finally the last quotation mark. Once we're happy, we click OK, select our first cell and type in 100, and press return. Our custom number format has been applied. We'll just autocomplete the rest. And each employee number now has the ERL /A added to its string. For the next exercise, apply conditional formatting to the type coverage column. Use data bars and a solid green fill. Okay, so the solution to this is quite straightforward. Select our data, go up to conditional formatting, go to data bars, and choose a solid green fill. For the last exercise, we're going to create a custom cell style. The cell style will include bold text, a custom date format that consists of an abbreviated month and the year, a light pink background, and a border. And we'll apply this cell style into the projected end column. So to create our custom cell style, we go to Cell Styles, go to New Cell Style, and click Format. So the first thing was a custom date format of an abbreviated month followed by the year. Next, we wish our font to be bold. We require a border, and we require a light pink fill. Then click OK. We'll rename this style Exercise. Then click OK. Select our projected end data, go to Cell Style, and choose the Exercise Custom Cell Style. And here we have our abbreviated month, our text in bold, our border, and our light pink background.